Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from mindfulmarketplace.com, and this is our brand new series called Serve at Scale. I have a new course coming out today. It's the 27th of October, 2020. And this is going to really help those of you who are struggling to get super clear on what it is that you do that differentiates or that differs from other folks in your niche, market, industry, vertical, etc., or even locality that gives you a competitive advantage. I call this a differentiation declaration, where you're simply stating something that you do, or you're articulating or even identifying, even if it's in your own internal process that's not publicly kind of stated, something that separates you from your competition that gives you a competitive advantage. Now, there is a brand new course that you can access. The link is going to be in the YouTube description box below. That will give you access to me, where you can ask questions, you can interact with some of the Q&A and some of the content in this new course. But I'm going to offer much of this available for free on either YouTube or via some audios that I'll be releasing to my own private community. So if you're not interested in really deep diving into this process with me in our community, in our course community, I'm hoping that this helps you in a way that's both practical, that's both specific, and that gives you some very concrete examples that you can follow that we are using right now in our own business. This is not some smoke and mirrors sort of thing. I'm going to share exactly how we're doing this right now on our Mindful Marketplace platform to build our own business going forward. All right, so let's look really quickly at this simple screenshot. I'm going to move this so this is a little bit more clear. And essentially, you've probably heard me say this before if you've followed any of my content in the past, but this is a very simple equation. What can you borrow to build? What can you leverage to launch? What makes you look like a superhero, a wonderkind, or a wizard in your niche, market, or industry? And then this is the question you're going to ask. And of course, the secret to your secret sauce is that it doesn't need to be your sauce. And I can't really overstate how important this is if you're launching a consultancy or a marketing style business, or a web development business, or a design development, social media marketing, email, whatever it is that you're helping in terms of helping your own audience succeed. Your whatever bucket that or buckets that your clients fit into, whether it's some like what we're doing with mindfulness based professionals, therapists, social workers, yogis, life coaches, people in the helping healing spaces, or whether you're doing something completely different. There are very simple and easy ways to find tools, tech, software, services, platforms, products that you can literally borrow to build and leverage to launch your own thing without really having anything of your own, right, that is special or unique or innovative. And I'm going to show you this is exactly our own process. Some of you can even see some of there's spelling errors in here, because this is my own kind of internal document for how we're thinking about this ourselves, right? So as you can see, core concept, and this is part of the course, content, but your sauce doesn't need to be your sauce. You need a product that solves a specific problem for a specific audience with a secret sauce, or with something that is different, unique, or innovative about your process, your protocols, your procedures, or your platform. But again, it doesn't need to be yours. You can borrow that from someone else who has innovated in that space. So here's an example, right? We have a program called Author Ask for folks who want to write books in the mindfulness space. And Author Ask essentially uses Typeform, right? Typeform is a magical, wizard-like, survey generation piece of software. It does quizzes and e-commerce oriented stuff now, and all sorts of very, very cool things that most of our authors who have looked at this program, had no idea it was even possible. And because we have a developer's license, or not a developer's license, we have a professional plan package with Typeform, or at least we did for the last year. I'm not sure if we're going to renew that because we have another software that we're now using that actually trumps Typeform for what we're doing, and I'll explain that as well. But that's not relevant to this. But it allows us to borrow this very cool secret sauce like tool and tech from a platform like Typeform that gives our audience rock star results, right? We can run these Typeform oriented quizzes and surveys and questionnaires that are very cool. They're interactive. They have this very kind of, magical feel to them. And we can do these for clients who then can then push these out to their own audience, and it makes them look like rock stars, right? And it's us borrowing Typeform's tools and tech that we're then developing a simple survey-oriented solution for our authors who are then pushing those out to their own communities, and this makes them look like, superstars, or at least in their eyes, they feel like rock stars for having this very smooth experience that they can offer their readers. All right, so something else, and again, something like an affiliate program, you can borrow this from something like Gumroad or Podia. You can, Pathwrite is what we're using for our teaching platform, and when I reach out to folks in the mindfulness space who want to teach courses, I'm able to really quickly show them how our platform can do some super duper cool things with regard to teaching courses that, again, they're not necessarily upstream of the fact that it's not our technology, right? We're just using somebody else's tool or tech to actually facilitate that, right? So keep asking, what can you borrow to build? What can you leverage to launch? Again, this can extend into something as simple as keyword research, right? Like something like SparkToro, Answer the Public. If you are building an agency and offering your clients rockstar results, right? Something like SparkToro, which is a fairly expensive keyword research tool, or something like Answer the Public, it allows you to look like a rock star for your clients, right? You're going to be able to tell them, all right, here are the exact questions that people are asking in your niche that you can answer for them, and create your first course, or write your first book, or sell your first product, or create your first coaching offer. And again, you're getting those keywords from a tool that you're paying for, right? Or in SparkToro's case, even more deep dive market research that you can, identify Twitter competitors, or what Facebook ads are running that are succeeding, et cetera, et cetera. And again, by dint of just borrowing a tool that you're paying for, that your clients are not paying for, and that gives you this competitive advantage. All right. So ask yourself the question: what can you borrow to build? What can you leverage to launch? What makes you look like a superhero in your niche, market, industry, vertical, or marketplace, right? And then write down 4 core offers that borrow someone else's tool, tech, software, product, or platform, and then think of ways that you can integrate that into your your agency, or your business plan, that even if you don't ultimately plan on doing this year, even if you don't ultimately plan on using all of them, just this exercise itself will give you these aha moments, these epiphanies, these insights, and this unique sort of mindset that will allow you to seek out solutions to problems that your quintessential clients may have, or your ideal audience may have, that have already been solved from some other tool that you can access, that you don't have to innovate or iterate or create or whatever. It's already out there. They just don't know about it. All right. So other examples, Facebook ads. I mean, that's a really simple thing. You're borrowing Facebook's algorithm, their secret sauce, their platform, their audience, right? And you're using it to grow either your own audience, your own business, your own community, or you're helping your clients do that, again, by dint of mastering their platform, right? I mean, how many people have we seen on Facebook? I'm not on Facebook anymore, but when I was for years, right? How many people in my own niche, right, my own competition in the online marketing space who really did nothing other than learn how to run Facebook ads, right? That's all they did. They had no other secret sauce other than they knew how to run Facebook ads. And by virtue of understanding that, they were able very easily to create their own communities out of thin air, right? Just by dint of running ads. And also, by and large, you would see those same folks generally selling courses, coaching, high end products and programs that were really nothing great other than the fact that they understood how to borrow Facebook's tools, tech, software, service, algorithms, etc., to really run ads that were just math exercises, not marketing exercises. A certain amount of people see the ad, a certain amount of people click on the ad, a certain amount of people sign up for the offer, etc., etc. And that's really all they had to offer. They weren't good writers, they weren't good thinkers, they weren't, brilliant, marketers or innovators. They're just folks who understood how to run Facebook ads. All right. If you're building a directory or a local community or WordPress themes, right? There are niche themes that make you look like a superhero, right? If you're building a directory, there are plugins, as we know, and and frameworks and those sorts of things that make you look like a genius if you're building a local restaurant directory and you've done that in 3 days because there are plugins and frameworks and tools that WordPress themes give you access to. And then you go out and start reaching out to restaurants. They don't know that you're not some genius. They don't know that you're not the next Yelp. They just think that you've got some super skill that they don't have, and they want to know more about how they can partner with you, listing their businesses, selling their products on your platform, etc., right? It's just a theme or a framework that you've borrowed, to build your own brand, your own business. All right, I could go on and on about this. I'm not going to here, per this video. I'm going to cover this more in the course community. So if you're interested in that, you can join us below, as well as there's going to be a community, an interactive community that you can also access when you sign up for our courses that is an example of this, that we're using Circle, right? The software as a service, social platform building tool, right? Circle, to build our own community. So I'm borrowing that again to build my own brand, business, etc., etc. All right. So I'm going to cover more of this, like I said, in the course, but here's a little bit more. Here's a couple more ideas that you can think about. Let's see if I can stretch this out. Of course, this screen software does not like me playing with this, my workflow space. I'm saying this badly. I'm unable to really navigate my Blackboard area when I'm using this particular screen recording software. So anyway, other things that could be considered secret sauce, and again, a domain name, right? I actually had one here before that I took out. It was a previous client of mine. These guys had nothing going on that was worth anything. They weren't really smart or innovative or interesting, with regard to what they had to offer their clients. But what they did have was a really super great, valuable domain name, right? So you can borrow just by dint of having a good domain name in a good local community. You can have that's your superpower, right? That makes you look like a genius. If you have a super short domain name in a very high value city, right? That alone, and you're building a directory or a marketplace or that sort of community, that gives you that's a superpower in of itself. It has value, right? You can build relationships, and that can be your secret sauce. Lots of people that I'll talk to will tell me, I don't have any skill building websites. I don't have any skill selling social media or writing copy or even doing marketing consulting for the folks in this niche or in this local area. So I'm kind of stuck, right? I don't know what to offer. I'm like, well, you're a great person, right? You're fun to talk to, you're outgoing, you like people, and you build relationships easily, again, as demonstrated by the fact that we're on the phone now having this this good interactive conversation. Take that quality, that's your secret sauce, and find 10 web designers, developers, social media marketers, copywriters, landing page designers, whatever it may be in your local area, and then build those relationships into affiliate relationships or partnership programs where you can sell them to the dentists, to the detailers, to the designers, to the florists, to the life coaches, to the restaurants, whatever it is that you're building by dint of this community. You can use your relationship building skills, your friendliness, your outgoingness. That can be a superpower, right? It doesn't have to. You don't have to be a designer. You don't have to be a a web developer to sell web development services and get rich doing that. You just need to be able to bring people together. You need to build a bridge between yourself and folks who need each other, right? Price. I mean, again, price can be your secret sauce. You can afford a tool, a tech, a piece of software, or a service that others can't. And by borrowing your budget, they can launch something fantastic as well, right? So I'll give you a really quick example. I'm going to do more examples in the actual course material, but there's a SMS-based learning tool that we are going to be using in November, this month coming up, to sell a course, right? That is going to be a community curated course. So we have all these different people who are going to have a lesson or two that are all delivered via email. That are delivered via text. And the price for this tool that we're going to be using for launching this course is really expensive, right? It's super expensive. Actually, it's too expensive even for what I'm comfortable spending. But it's so innovative. It has such a super power sort of sheen to it. It has such a secret sauce kind of sheen that I can spend the money on this and use that I know that my audience can't afford to invest in this. And then I can just hope that by dint of they're going to be able to see how much this would cost to do it for themselves, that I don't even have to worry about like having someone copy the idea very quickly, because that's always a concern, right? When you reach out to strangers and invite them to participate in in a product launch, or in an idea launch, a book launch, or a course launch, and you're actually giving them everything that you're doing up front before they commit, right? So there's always that risk of someone's going to say, shit, I'll do the same fucking thing. Why do I need you, right? But in this case, because the price for this tool is so expensive, and we've already committed a certain amount of money to it for a certain amount of months, I know the chances are in this particular niche that folks aren't going to be able to emulate that on their own very easily, right? So, that could be wrong. I could turn out to get burned by this as well. But price, I've found in my own experience, can be your secret sauce. If you have a budget for things and you can run, and you can build something by virtue of affordability that others in your audience won't necessarily want to risk, you can use that as a competitive advantage as well. All right, so the key piece of this is really this piece, right? What can you borrow to build? What can you leverage to launch? What allows you to 10x your audience, your impact, your income on a bootstrap budget, right? What can you immediately take advantage of that's available to you that others don't know or don't have access to, even if they don't have access to because they just don't know about it yet. It doesn't have to be like Typeform. I found was a really good example of that. Like it's been around forever. I've known about Typeform for, I don't know, as long as there's been a Typeform. But when we reached out to authors and said, hey, you're like sending your readers to a Google Doc right now, or like some like really lowbrow, low-tech solution. We have this whole program called Author Ask, And really, the whole author as thing was just a type form. It was nothing more than that. That we were just customizing for each client, adding a Facebook pixel so they could be retargeted, and making it look like something that was like wizard-like, and it really wasn't, right? So that is the core idea. And just for those of you who are trying and struggling to find what it is that your unique selling proposition is, find 4 things in the next couple days that you would love to be able to offer your audience that are available out there in the world in terms of a solution. I'll give you an even better example. Here, let's see if I can pull this up. This is a perfect example of this. And this is something that's well outside of my own, familiarity. But I was looking at this platform for converting Notion docs into websites, right? This guy is killing it with this company called super.so, right? All he's doing is applying some sort of magic, like hosting magic, where they're turning Notion templates into websites, right? And he's built this entire business. You can see it was the number one product on Product Hunt of the day in the last couple, I don't know, weeks, months. And this is getting rave reviews, right? All he's doing is saying, what can we borrow to build? What can we leverage to launch? People love Notion. Notion would make, Notion as for templates and docs and spreadsheets and all those things that people use Notion for, organization, personal productivity, et cetera, et cetera. Well, this guy has allowed you to turn your Notion docs into websites, right? So they can be live URLs on the web that are generated by just through your Notion, documentation or your Notion files. I'm saying this badly because, again, this is even not something I'm even knowledgeable about, but it's just a prime example that I just stumbled upon a couple of days ago of someone doing this in the world, right? Leveraging someone else's popular tool or tech and building an entire business. Notion is wildly popular, and this guy's building his entire business around Notion, right? Or at least this particular business, I've noticed this guy's doing a lot of cool things in the world, right? But this is a well-regarded, well-received business idea. Again, Product Hunt is a great, place for, entrepreneurs to share ideas, and this is like blew up on Product Hunt. So anyway, this is just something I stumbled across the other day. That's a perfect example of this. His innovation is simply bringing his own understanding of how to integrate something like a Notion doc with web hosting and doing all those behind the scenes technical things that I can't even conceptualize what's involved because I'm a dummy when it comes to that stuff. All right, so I'm not telling you here's our Pathright store, our Pathright community. And again, this is another example of using a LMS that is expensive and really powerful, that does really cool things to impress our audience. What can you borrow to build? In this case, the Pathright, LMS technology. What can you leverage to launch? Again, the same thing. And now I can do really, really cool things. I can offer our audience, our teachers, our community, really interactive and immersive learning experiences that you can't do on something like Podia or Gumroad or that sort of thing. And again, I'm saying a lot, so I'm going to stop this particular video, and then we're going to cover more of this in the course contents as well. But if you are interested in doing this, the key question, again, keeps coming back to what can you borrow to build, what can you leverage to launch, and then keep finding solutions that are available out there right now that give you a competitive advantage and that allow you to offer your quintessential clients, your community, your ideal audience, rock star results by dint or by virtue of having access to tools and tech and products and platforms and content and communities that they may not know about just yet. Okie doke, I'm going to shut up And if you're interested in joining our private community and our course that covers this stuff in some more detail, feel free to join us at the link below. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful day.